Hello everyone, this is the Southern Hellenist. I'm back with another video. So before I start, I want to say that this is a political video, or I would just say it's a video about something that is political. So if you are not into videos about people politically doing dumb things, you don't have to watch it if you don't want to. So, alright, so we're talking about censorship and the banning of certain books based on their subject matter. So a couple of months ago, Texas passed a law that stated that certain books were not allowed in school libraries. That librarians had to look through each one of the books, and if they essentially broke this law, that they would be removed from the library system entirely, and disappears forever. Librarians were absolutely just furious at this law that basically dictated what they could and could not put into their libraries. So it's a form of censorship and form of book banning. So this also has happened in Tennessee, and I also believe in Florida as well. Yay, I'm going to mention Florida in this video. So they were taught, there's all these articles about how damaging book banning is, how it's a threat to democracy, how it's a violation of people's First Amendment rights. And I do agree with that. So, you would think that the law would only apply to physical books. No, the law also applies to digital copies of physical books, because generally, if there is a physical copy of the book, there is a digital copy of the book. Because libraries are supposed to be this place you go to be able to check books out and to immerse yourself in different points of view. So for people that may not be aware of this, book banning and censorship of books has been around for centuries. Probably the most famous form of censorship or book banning, I should say book burning, was when the church was burning knowledge that had been accumulated for centuries to ensure that the only thing that people were ingesting was church doctrine. So you have this history of censorship, book banning, book burning. Another book that was widely banned, and you could actually get burned at the stake for possessing it, was, of course, the English language Bible. There's a documentary on PBS called Secrets of the Dead, Battle for the Bible, and it talks about that, and this is key here, that the church did not want people to be able to decide for themselves what they believed. Because they wanted to control even the very foundations of people's faith. So, 20-some years ago, oh wow, I am old, maybe a couple years less than that, the Nook and Kindle came out. And the Nook and the Kindle were revolutionary for their time because they allowed people to get digital copies of books for probably $10, $15, $20 cheaper than the printed version of the book. Plus, they could put in their purse or their whatever, and they could read. They didn't have to basically bring their entire library. So, backtracking. So, no, let's continue on this vein. So, when I first heard about the Nook and the Kindle, their prices was what, like I said to my mother, I'm never getting one. They're too expensive. I don't want to get one. And she was like, okay, fine. They're too expensive for you. Go ahead. You don't have to buy one. I ended up getting a Nook, but that was because my mother gave me the money to get one because we were moving down here to Kentucky, and she wanted me to have something to read on the bus, which she complained a lot about her butt and all that stuff that comes with being on a bus for a long time. So what happened later on down the road was that more and more titles became available for Nook and Kindle, and this included a lot of books that parents definitely did not want their children to read. And there was books on Wicca and witchcraft and heathenism and all that type of stuff. So that was something. The huge thing was, even for people that were tech savvy, being able to get into your person's library and delete titles did require the person to give up their password, which, trust me, my mother may not like Wicca, but she was definitely pro-privacy. Don't be looking through people's phones, don't be looking through their devices, because that's just, you don't do that. So pretty soon you had libraries, after a huge amount of time passed, you have libraries that see the benefit of, ebooks. You got a woman that can't make it to the library, so so she can download an ebook, and it automatically gets returned back to the library after the loan period is over. And in fact, and I know this for a fact because I did get it through Amazon, but Amazon had still has, I think they still have the deal or the agreement with Louisville libraries, public libraries, where you would go to the library, or you could go on your Kindle and you could check out books. You had to give your card number, but you were able to check books out, and then at the end of 2 weeks you could in fact return it. And now of course you have Kindle Unlimited, which is really cool. So yeah, so you have students that can now digitally check out books about LGBT, about gender identity, about racism, about all these different things, and they could read them away from their parents' prying eyes, and they could form their own opinions, and they could form their own beliefs. So if they suddenly, after reading a couple books, decide that racism is wrong, then that decision or that belief that racism is wrong would actually carry on to their children and their children's children, and on and on. So parents who are deeply concerned about critical race theory, about their kids becoming gay and all that bullshit, they have gone after ebooks, and basically they have either removed the app from their children's laptop, or they have used laws to ban certain titles from the digital library, so students cannot see those books. My mother did kind of a form of censorship. I would actually say it is a form of censorship because it was basically controlling what I was reading. But she had told me way before Kindle and Nook ever came out that she did not want to be practicing Wicca and witchcraft. I know I've mentioned this before. And she didn't want the books in her house, though the books she had already bought me were fine. They could stay in the house because she did buy them for me. So I was sneaking books in and I was reading them, and I would I would hide them. Like when I heard her coming, I would immediately hide it under my pillow so that she couldn't see it. And everything. And I did all these really weird things to keep my mother from finding out that I had these books. And then, of course, I lived near the library, and I would actually go over there and return the books and all that. But when I got my Nook, and later on I got my Kindle app, I was able to bring those books into the apartment. I was able to read them. I didn't have to worry about my mother discovering them between the mattress. I didn't have to worry about her knowing that I was still practicing a pagan religion. So it really did help. But the parents that are able to go into an account and delete books that their children have checked out, they are a lot more computer savvy than my mother was. They understand how ebooks work because they probably have one themselves. So you have this desire by conservative Christian parents that want to try to censor or to control what their children read. And however, the thing is, teenagers are still find ways to get these books. They're still find ways to practice their religion. I remember, and I think I mentioned this in one of my videos, I remember in the early 2000s to mid 2000s, the attitude that a lot of pagans had was, if your parents do not want you to practice it, you cannot practice it. Now it's more geared towards, freedom of religion and people being able to practice their religion, because those kids or those teenagers that were told by older pagans that they could not practice their religion, they're still practicing it, and they're leading the wave of, we have First Amendment rights to practice our religion. If you don't like it, you can go somewhere, because that's just how we view things. We know what you have said to us in the past, and this is not the past, this is the present. So it's very much how things evolve. And it's really weird. Originally, you'd only have like books banned, physical books banned, but now they're going after ebook publishing, ebook companies that are connected to libraries, and they're trying to find ways to ban ebooks so their children do not get their hands on them, because they know exactly what's going to happen. Children are going to develop their own beliefs. They're going to open their mind further and further, and before you know it, you've got an entirely non-racist family that maybe 2 or 3 generations prior, they were extremely racist. But I kind of really shake my head at the whole thing of trying to control thought, trying to control evolution of belief. And it's an annoyance beyond, I think, anything, to try to control how children think, how they act, how they portray themselves in society, and all that type of stuff. So, it's kind of weird, You go and you have a minister of the pulpit that says, don't go to this store. And then you have one person that says, oh, I want to go to the store because I want to see what's wrong with it. And then they kind of like, oh, it was nothing. It was just a space with stuff in it. That was my mother, actually. But it's censorship is wrong, no matter who's doing it. It's a clear violation of people's First Amendment rights, the rights that we as a democracy we hold true to us. And I think that it's something that we really truly need to be concerned about, because I got around my mother's ban on pagan books because I had the Kindle app, because my mother was not tech savvy. I was able to read all the books I wanted on paganism, on Wicca, on witchcraft, on a lot of different things. And in the end of it, I decided that, as much as I loved Wicca and witchcraft, and I really admire people that still practice their religion despite hostility, Hellenism is a religion that, that thankfully there are ebooks that are popping up to help and to guide the person. So it's one of those things that just still rubs me the wrong way. I hate censorship. I really do. Alright. So I want to add one more thing. That it's not a valid argument or valid statement to state that there is no such thing as banned books, but you can go to the bookstore and get them. That is, whoever said that on Facebook, they are missing the point of censorship and how bad it is. So I'll see you guys around. Hope you guys have a great remainder of your Thursday. I'll be back tomorrow, as I said before, with that video. And I will see you guys around. So until next time, may the gods watch over you and read on. Bye.